All right. Actually, you know what I should have done is I should have kept my phone on just to make sure that we are live, but I'm going to trust that we are. So I'm going to leave it at that. All righty. Hello and welcome, welcome, welcome to day number 3 of the, excuse me, Coloring Book Creator interview series and podcast. I'm Rodney Washington, your host, and I am beyond thrilled to have you here for day number 3. Today is our bittersweet day, is our last day of the series, but I've got 3 amazing creators that I'm bringing to you today, starting with our guest today. Our first guest for today, Michele Wolf, who has created an amazing book for children that is called When I Grow Up, Exploring Careers Through Coloring. So this is her amazing book that's now available on Amazon. And here's the back of it. And we're going to talk a lot about it. But I first want to say, Michele, thank you so much for coming today. How are you?
I am doing awesome. Thanks so much for having me and doing this for us. It's awesome.
I'm so glad to have you here. You're amazing. So let's move right into it. So I wanted to start out with the first question is what were you, well, tell me about your story. Who are you and how did you get started? What made you decide and what made you decide to do a coloring book?
Okay. About fifth grade, I think I was about 10. I had an art teacher. I loved art and the art of expression and creativity. But I had an art teacher when I was 10 who suggested that I not pursue art anymore because it would be a waste of time. And I really thought that that was something that I kind of wanted to pursue into junior high, high school, and beyond. But she made such an impression on me when I was so young that I really let it stay with me. And um, it wasn't until I was getting ready for my own wedding when I was 20 that I found creativity again because I had let her change the way I thought about myself for so long.
Hmm.
And I decided that at that time, when I was 20, that I was going to be a creative person and that I wanted to pursue that. And over the last 40 years, I started out as a preschool teacher, taught for 12 years to 3, 4, and 5 year olds. Then I developed my own interior design company that actually ended up being an award winning company. I sold that company and then started making handmade gourmet candies myself. Turned that into a gourmet company, which ended up being an award winning company as well in my area for this Best of the City award, which was just beyond any expectations I ever had. Oh my goodness. And then, and then I had children and grandchildren. So that's really what inspired me to move into this realm of coloring books.
Wow. You have a really broad, diverse background. And I just want to acknowledge something that you just said a moment ago, because we had a conversation about this privately about what your teacher said to you when you were, young and how that could have totally, and it does happen all the time, all the time where children are said something or have been told something that literally you don't even realize you're literally derailing unless that child has a spirit about them that just because some kids are just like, I don't care what you say, I'm doing what I want, kind
Mhm.
of thing. But some children really take that to heart, and you're derailing someone off their path.
Right, right. And I think adults just kind of dismiss that as being, oh, they're just young, they're not paying attention. But guess what? They really are. And
Mhm.
I really did. And and I'm firsthand at seeing how that changed me initially,
Mhm.
um, and how it took me forward when I had my own kids and my now I have 5 grandchildren. But
Mhm.
um, yeah, children are watching, they're learning, they're listening, they're paying attention, whether you think they are or not. Definitely.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I think the secret in it is as the adult, are you watching them what they're naturally gravitating towards and encouraging that, or are you trying to dissuade them? And I get where
Uh-huh.
a lot of people do that because they're trying to keep the child safe
Uh-huh.
and help them to make quote unquote safe decisions. But children come in already kind of knowing, without knowing what interests them.
Uh-huh.
And I think as an adult, it's our responsibility to observe that and then encourage that.
I think that's key in allowing your child to experience a lot of different things in a
Hmm.
lot of different ways with a
Hmm.
lot of different opportunities. And then you, as the provider of those experiences and opportunities, then sit back and see, okay, that's where they gravitate to. Or
Hmm.
maybe they're a hands-on learner, or maybe they're an academic learner, or maybe they're a combination thereof. But I think as whether you're a parent, a grandparent, a family friend, whoever it is, if you have a
Hmm.
little in your life, I think it's part of your responsibility to let that child bloom in what's their passion and in what's their creativity.
In their
It's
gift.
not for you to decide whether they are or they aren't.
Right, and their
Definitely.
gift, and their gift, and absolutely. Now, you shared with me, because we're going to talk about next what inspired the book, and since this segues perfectly into, I think you mentioned to me, or you did say to me, that your granddaughter
Uh-huh.
actually was instrumental. Your 10-year-old granddaughter was instrumental
Uh-huh.
in helping you.
She
Let's talk
is.
about that.
Well, as I said earlier, I mean, I started both my sons when they were, and they're now in their late 30s and early 40s. I started them with crayons before they were a year old, and I did the same thing with my grandchildren. And um, three of my grandchildren have really taken to creative expression. And my 10-year-old granddaughter now, she has really started to develop her own creative identity. And
Mhm.
so when I thought that I was finished with building companies and or pursuing any more kind of businesses, um, I stumbled upon your information, and it has always been her dream to be an illustrator and a writer. And she has told me that from the time that she was 3.5 years old, that that's what she wanted to do.
Oh, wow.
And I saw firsthand again how giving her the opportunities to have that, she can go into my craft room or my sewing room, and she pulls out fabric and she pulls out paints and she pulls out all those different kinds of things. And that's her own identity. But now that I've decided to take on the coloring book um, genre in my creative pursuits, she now is my sounding board for titles and content. And she's actually going to be helping me do some stop motion animation with the softies that are coming as part of the coloring book. So yeah.
I
And
love it.
then the 8-year-old, this my grandson, he is taking care of the cuteness factor of all of my characters. If they pass his cuteness factor, then they might make themselves their way into the next book. So yeah, she's helping me. They're all three of them, and my 4-year-old granddaughter, she is absolutely the epitome of creative expression without hesitation and not apologetically doing anything that she wants to do. So I'm kind of getting that that renewed sense of exploration and imagination and inspiration from them being able to express their creativity. So that's been awesome.
That is now. I wanted to show everyone the book. So this is again the book, and I wanted to show you some of the designs or the illustrations inside of it because it's all about different potential careers that a child could pursue. One's for a firefighter or a photographer. Here's one for an artist. Appropriate how I came up with that. Pulled up that page, and a ship captain. These are all fun, simple little designs that a child can do. But what you really created this is was going to the military. there's even some pages in the back here that a child can, let's see here, the last one, draw a picture of you. So the child can draw a picture of themselves. Here's one here for draw a picture of your favorite toy. And the last one is draw a picture of your favorite place. And when you created this beautiful book, which I just love the design of this book, when you created this book, you were saying that this could be an activity that you, as a parent or grandparent, could do with your child, and that was a lot of what inspired the book. You want to talk a little
Yes,
about that?
absolutely, absolutely. I think I've geared the book towards maybe the 4 to 7 year old age range.
Okay.
That seems to be where most of my positive reviews have come from, as far as letting people see the book now that it's finished.
Hmm. Hmm.
But I kind of look at it as something much deeper, that it's a garden of inspiration and encouragement,
Hmm.
that I'm planting seeds for children and parents to talk about and explore the curiosity behind a particular type of job. Not that they're
Hmm.
going to decide their careers at 4, for heaven's sakes, no,
Hmm.
but
Hmm.
it's opening up the opportunity for dialogue between parents or grandparents or family or friends or whoever it is, that are going to sit down with that child and possibly color with them and give them some
Hmm.
information on what maybe is entailed in that particular type of profession. So
Hmm.
I'm hoping that it gives children the opportunity to express themselves with creativity and to find that exploration and imagination, but at the same time, maybe plant a few seeds that will help them as they get a little bit older.
Hmm.
Um, I,
Hmm.
I I received a little ticker from for reading for an article that I got in my mailbox last night, and
Hmm.
it was from the Harvard Business Review, and it talked about how um, people in the children are children of the future. We're now going to be very much exposed to artificial intelligence and the world that's coming for them to survive in. And I thought, um, the 3 things that Harvard Business Review says children of the future in positions of employees and or bosses or leaders need to have 3 critical things, and that is strategic thinking,
Hmm.
imagination, and creativity. And I
Hmm.
thought, well, that was a pretty interesting article for me to read here last night, pending this podcast for today,
Hmm.
because I think that really tied into what I'm hoping that this coloring book will create. I'm hoping that it will open up those lines for creativity and inspiration. So,
Absolutely. I love that. And you're 100% correct. And I, have children or grandchildren, so I, didn't know this, but I now have come to the understanding that a lot of public schools don't do field trips anymore, and I don't necessarily bring in people. They used to have career day and things like that in
mhm,
school when I was growing up. So where else are they going to get it? And pretty much is all from the internet or someone or their peers,
mhm.
and where they are. So again, when you
Well,
get the
and some
child,
schools don't have art anymore either. I mean,
oh
there are a lot of schools that have had to cut through funding issues, have had to cut all their extracurricular, what they consider to be extracurricular classes of art and music and gym and those kinds of things. I know in my area, it's less common to find one that still has those programs than it is
wow,
for them to not have them,
oh
which is frustrating.
wow,
Which is
I
very
didn't
frustrating.
know that. I didn't know that. So yeah, so it
Mhm,
really does put it in an age of homeschooling. Even though maybe if your child still goes to school, there's still going to be some element of homeschooling that's going to be integrated. How
mhm.
you now have a vehicle now
Absolutely.
to for the parent who may not know what to do,
Mhm,
to help work with their,
mhm,
and encourage
mhm,
that. Wonderful. Oh,
mhm.
I love that. I love that. And again, I didn't know about that with the funding issue. So yeah, it's quite concerning, but Thank God for you for creating this. So,
Well,
so
well, I've kind of always been the glass half full kind of girl.
mhm, mhm,
I think that that philosophy has always got me kind of through the hard stuff in my life,
mhm,
um, and
mhm.
I think that that should creativity and self expression and imagination shouldn't be that hard.
Right. And again, what I love about coloring in particular is that it doesn't require you to have to know how to draw or to know how to paint. All you need is a book and a set of pencils or crayons. It's inexpensive, as I mentioned yesterday on Quintana's interview. And so, really,
Mhm,
honestly, this is something that anyone can do. But I love the fact that you're catching children early if it's something that they're drawn to.
mhm,
And again, to give some time, and this is something just popped in my head right now that I really want to share too, is that, because again, I didn't know this. I don't have children, nieces or nephews, so I don't really know what the kids are doing. I didn't know that so many children now spend so much time on tablets and things because that's what the parent gives them to entertain them.
mhm, mhm,
And while I don't inherently feel like that's wrong at all, I'm not judging it, but I just feel for me as a person who spends a lot of time on technology, why I, as almost a 59-year-old man, now has embraced coloring myself because I don't want to do everything online. I don't want to do everything on the computer.
mhm.
Um, I personally got into coloring because I wanted the tactile experience of feeling my hand moving on paper and
Absolutely.
laying down color. And it's opened up my mind that I feel like it's making me better with the tech stuff I'm doing because I have those moments.
Mhm,
So while I love all this technology, and as you mentioned ago, the children are definitely going to have to know how to navigate it because it's a part of they're going as a part of their reality as they grow up.
mhm,
But I really love what you created here because you're giving them an alternative to only being on the tablet or only
mhm,
watching the TV.
mhm.
Um, you have any thoughts about that you'd like to share?
Oh, definitely. I mean, I think that I see it in my own grandchildren. They who are homeschooled, but they and my son is in the technology industry, and so
Mhm,
they definitely have that influence, but they are very, very limited in what they are allowed to watch and what they are and how much time they have. So I
mhm,
think they get an hour and a half of technology on their iPads every other day,
hmm,
twice a week, maybe.
mhm,
And their television is limited to less than an hour in the evening. So they are very tactile. They're very aware, and I think that comes with actually experiencing and getting up and doing and seeing and the ability for kids to actually color and to have those kinds of things. It's a lot more than just coloring. It's focusing and it's hand coordination and it's small motor movement skills and it's all those things that are going to help them in the future. It's not just about coloring and it's not just about play. I mean, a child's play is their work, you know. And
mm.
the more they get the opportunity to play and pretend and imagine, it's only going to make them bloom as a person. I mean, it stands to reason, right?
Yep. Yep. Absolutely. 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 And so this segues again. I know I've displayed the book a couple of times. I'm of course proud as heck of it. So I'm gonna keep showing it again. So why this book? Why and again, well, not so much why this book. We already know why this book, but tell us the name of the book again. We already know When I Grew Up, and who is it really for? What's the perfect age range for
I think, as I mentioned, I think the people that have seen it since it's been published, it seems to be gravitating to the 4 to 7 year old range.
it?
I think the next volume in that will probably be in that same age range of
Mhm,
children.
mhm,
But I'm also looking at doing a little bit different of a character, and maybe adding to the age groups. So maybe go to the tweens. Um, in
Mhm.
some exploration. But at the same time, I think those little characters might prove to be other things too. Um,
Okay.
so I'm
Okay.
thinking about adding little softies that kids can color and then play with and extend their imagination again, hands on.
Wonderful. And the softies, are they going to be based on the characters, the
Yes,
images of the characters in the book? Okay, so this
yes,
is
they
cool.
are.
So they're like
Hmm.
a little, almost like a little doll that they can
A little
color.
doll. Yep, yep.
Oh,
That they will
that's
be able to
cool.
color and then play with.
Oh, that's so cool. I love
Yeah.
that. You got to keep us updated on when that happens.
Okay.
And speaking of keeping update on how that happens, is I'm going to pop this in. I just realized that I have this little feature set. So to get more information from Michelle about the book and all the exciting things she's working on, Michelle has graciously offered. I think it was, how many pages is it that you're offering in your in
4.
your four? So Michelle's
Hmm.
offering free coloring pages that you can get, and then she'll give you information about her group and where to go buy the book on Amazon. And I've got the little ticker tape coming up on the bottom, but it's get 2 free coloring pages gr8.com, and I'll leave that up as we're continuing our interview, that you can write that down. I'll also put the link in the comments. I can't do the comments in real time for some reason inside of the chat box here, so I'll leave this up for you to take a look at and go check that out, and where you can learn about everything that she's got going on. So with that said, I want to ask you this question: what has been the most significant learning experience that you have uncovered as a result of this process of creating this book?
Oh well, I am at the top of the ladder in social media and computer technology challenged. I It's not something that I grew up with. It's not something that I even made efforts to learn. Um, but um, at this point, God has put a gift in my heart, and He's expecting me to do something with it. And I know He does not want it back until I have proven that I can do something with that gift. So I figured that I better lean into it and I better learn about technology. And thank heavens for you, because that because you have been one of the most patient teachers that I think I have ever had in that learning process. So
Thank you, thank
mm,
you, thank you.
definitely that.
Yeah, yeah, it's been fun, and it's a lot. I mean, I've thrown a lot at all of you. I really, but again, I knew some of the things I was showing you was probably going to be a little more than you were like, am I going to scare them away? But I was like, no, just, it's okay. It's all good, you know, and because it's part, again, as you know, rather, is regardless if we're 4 or 5, or like I said, we're 58, 59 years old, technology and social media and doing things online is just part and parcel with how we have to exist in this world now. And
Uh-huh.
so while we may not want to know all this stuff, and trust me, there's things sometimes I wish I didn't know how to do, but it's made me be able to navigate the world. And
Uh-huh.
I shared this with you the other day. When I was in high school myself, I graduated high school when I was 17. And when I went to college, this was when computers were those little ugly dark screens that had the green lettering on it, and there was no pictures or nothing to look at. And my father kept saying to me, learn computers. And I was like, what about, what's a computer? And I was like, I was taking a typing course that I kept failing because I couldn't figure out how to even type.
Mhm.
So to then know how, so to go full circle, to be able to now spend my life on a computer, it's come full circle. And so the things I've learned that I taught myself, I never went to school for anything that I know how to do. I taught myself how to do it.
Mhm.
And so I feel like That was a gift. I never looked at it that way until you made that statement the other day. Is God gives you a gift and He won't take it back. You'll keep it until He takes it back. So for me to teach all of you how to do these things, putting together your book and all the other moving parts that are involved in everything has just been mind blowing to me. So I have to be patient because I've had to learn patience because I can't expect people to be where I am. They
Mhm.
don't know. You don't know what you don't know. So, um,
Right. And
you
the
know,
things that you do know, they come so naturally to you because it's part of your gift that you don't even give it a second thought.
give it a second thought. So,
Hmm.
and so that's why, again, I grew up with a teacher. My mom's a retired teacher, so I learned it from her as well, and I'm very grateful for that. So, I just can't say enough about what you created here, Michelle, and I look so forward to seeing all the new books that you do. I know you got a new one
Well,
you're
thank
working
you.
on.
I do. Yes. Thank
Yeah.
you.
So,
Thank you.
any final thoughts? Let's see here. So, any final words for anyone that is dreaming about creating a coloring book of their own?
Well, going back to that dream in your heart, I think if you have a dream in your heart, it's there for a reason. Um, I think that yearning and that pull is always going to be there and it never goes away, regardless of what the content of that gift is or what your age is. Because at 63 now, I I thought I was done. When I sold my last company, I thought I was done creating companies and creating another business. And when I saw your information and I realized that it sparked another part of that creative gift, um, that I never thought my creative passion would be in a coloring book. But what I realized with your information, that it's not necessarily about my coloring book per se, but it's the message behind it and the creation of it and why I wanted to bring it to fruition into the world. So I think that if you have that yearning and that pull in the creative avenue, um, I, I think you have to go for it. And um, you, Rodney, are the perfect teacher to do that, regardless of what the book itself is about. It's a lot more than that. And for me, I know that I'm on the right path because my heart feels like it's dancing. And so I feel
Mm,
like if there are other people out there that have that gift and they feel that yearning and that pull, then they need to let that gift out so their heart can dance as well.
thank you. So that's such a sweet thing to say. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much
No,
for
I
saying
mean
that.
every bit of it.
Oh, I thank you so much. And it is true. As I've said to you, and I've said to many other people who've been in my circle now for a while, is that when I created my book last year, I heard so clearly that it was more than a book. It was bigger than a book. It wasn't even about the book. The book is the way that we as individuals connect. I present the book to you, you take the book, you work with it, but it's the message behind the book, and that's what I love about each and every one of you and what you've done. You have a message that transcends the book. The book is just the transaction
Hmm.
that happens, but your message is, you're dedicated to children not falling prey to a teacher that
Hmm.
may be well meaning, saying something to them that could change the whole trajectory of their life. And that's what
Right.
your real gift is here, and you've taken it full circle, and I applaud you for that, and I thank you for
Well,
that.
thank you. I just feel like if you have a little that's in your life, if you have a child that's in your sphere of influence, and you have ever seen that child full of joy for what they're doing, there's no greater gift. And I truly believe that there is no greater gift to give anyone other than pure inspiration.
Mm, well
And you have
said,
done that.
well said, well said, and I thank you all. Well, this wraps up our time together. I could talk to you forever. And I have every confidence to believe that you'll be back.
Well, thank you. Thank you.
Well,
It's been wonderful. It's been great.
yeah, I've enjoyed getting to know you and getting to help you put this out into the world. And again, everyone, the little link down here at the bottom is get to freecoloringpages.gr8.com. Again, I will go into my groups and I will put that link in there as well. When you opt in for that, Michelle will send you, like I said, 4 little sample pages from this book, but she will also send you an email. You'll get some emails from her on where you
Mhm.
can go find it on Amazon. So I encourage you to do that if you've got young children, grandchildren, and like I said, it's just, it makes me, I said this to you when when I got the book in my hand. When I look at your book, it makes me smile,
Thank
you
you.
know, and that's just something that I feel, even, like I said, I'm almost 60 years old, but I still need to smile.
Don't we
need to,
all?
need to
Don't we
smile a
all?
little bit. So
Mhm.
thank you so much. And thank you, as one of my dear friends here, Jean, says, thank you for sharing your journey. We really appreciate it so
Well,
much.
thank
So,
you. Thank you. I appreciate that, and I look forward to everybody else joining into the community.
yes, absolutely. So we're going to take a 15-minute break, and then I'm going to be back with it's going to be a new live stream where I'm going to be bringing on Marcia Ashley in about 15 minutes. So what you'll just need to do is you'll just need to refresh the Facebook group or however you're watching it. Just refresh it and you'll be able to see it. Also, I did want to say in the last couple of moments here before wrap up is that I am doing a contest this week where I'm going to be giving away 3 book bundles of all of the books from all of the authors that you've met this week. I'm going to be announcing those winners tomorrow. So, again, if you were here live, I've got you counted and I will tally all of that up. And then I'm going to do the little spinning wheel of names. I'm going to do that tomorrow, probably around, I'm thinking noon. I'm going to go live in the group and I will announce those winners. And again, you'll be getting 3 people will be getting all 5 books. So we still have 2 more interviews today. I have Marcia Ashley coming up in about 15 minutes, 13 minutes, and then we have Pamela Sisler coming up at 12:30. So grab a tea or coffee or whatever, take a little walk, and then come back and join us again in a few minutes, and we'll continue this wonderful conversation that we're having. All righty.
Great. All right.
Thank you so
Thanks so
much.
very much.
Take care
Bye,
of yourself.
everybody.
Bye bye.